The moral of the story, life often takes longer than you'd expect, so that's okay. Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper. Working my way through this pile of fence pickets. With winter kind of upon us and becoming more upon us, and with the really thin drywall in the mobile home, children will sometimes pick at things. So there's an amount of trim that's kind of missing from our living room area. And there's actually one place where the little ones could look out the window that eventually that windowsill kind of started coming apart and the drywall beneath there. Not very good for insulation then, if you've got pieces missing. One thing I wanted to do to protect the walls, sometimes, depending on the type of living conditions you're in, if it's not just incredible building materials, life becomes a game of, can I keep this thing functioning before it gets destroyed and I lose it? You know, if I just let my house go, I'll lose it and we'll need a new one a lot quicker. Especially, you know, we're a high traffic family, if you will. So, trying to, of course, teach the children, don't write on the wall, don't pick at the stuff, don't do those things. But then it seems every couple of years we've got a new opportunity to start that training again as the next one comes in. So, by using these fence pickets, I'm going to put them over the top of the wall. They're going to kind of interlock and be tough. And then that's also going to add a level of insulation. This is just a raw one that came off of a job I got paid to tear down the fence picket and then paid to put up a new one. But this here kind of really had the color. See, here's kind of more of a natural color. There was a board in front of here. But here's the sun-bleached, old, rustic color. And I'm like, that's about what I would like kind of for the inside. That said, this is one I've recently gray washed. Okay, so if we look at the color there, I'm not far off. That's pretty close to what I wanted, so that's pretty good actually. And originally I was going to use a steel wool and vinegar mixture, but I had too much going on to really keep a good eye on it, so it was getting to be too red and rusty. There's a way to make a nice looking barnwood out of it. I've done it before, it was years ago. But right now I thought gray washing would be better. So just kind of like whitewashing, where you pick up a water-based paint and you add a couple parts of water to each part of paint. You paint on the board and you wipe it off. That's what I'm doing here. The difference is I'm just using gray paint instead of white, because I didn't want white, I wanted gray. So kind of wanted to match that, remember? So the gray wash stuff is looking pretty good. I do have a pile left. There's just all sorts of boards in front of you. But I've almost worked about halfway through this pile already. Once I get through it all gray washed, which is a longer process, then I'm going to coat it with some polyurethane. That's going to go quicker. And then I'll be ready to put it up. There's not much prep work that needs to be done to my house to put it up. I'll mark the studs. I'll get my brad nailer. I really like this one, not having an air compressor, to get the rigid one with the 18-volt batteries. Just amazing. And actually, a number of these boards were split the long way, so I was able just to nail them in the side to hold them together and kind of preserve them. So I like that. This guy should be pretty good for me. It shoots 18 gauge. I've got some that are, I think, 2 inches long that I'm going to be using because I want to go through the pickets, through the drywall, and into the studs. I think 2-inch should work. And part of it too for me is it's going to be more durable. It's going to be much better for heating in the winter because it's going to be that much more insulation. The windows will still be a weak point. Sometimes we do put stuff over the top of the windows, a layer of like shrink wrap or stretch film, and help kind of make the house warmer that way. That helps. The wood stove's been doing good. Made it through last year with just one woodshed, so kind of excited about that. Just one woodshed worth of wood. So I want to do this and get this done, and then I'm also still making progress with the root cellar. I'll have a video coming out about that eventually here. But now is the time to really knock some things out. I want to get ahead on some of these projects before things get worse. And starting with the main living room is going to be good. And then I'll be able to kind of consider some of the other stuff. I've got other problems in the house. Trailers aren't exactly built super tough. They're just built to be there. So I've got to work on that. And then also coming up, I'm not sure when, but I'm probably going to add an extension onto the house, an addition, and maybe even just the length of the building. You know, if here's my building and it's this long, then off the back of it, run a section, that whole thing, to add some extra rooms, add a covered porch, add a work studio for me, and some different things too. We'll see how it goes. But right now I got some of this to do, and then I wanted to do an update on these too, which are my, there you go, these HISEA boots I got. We've been at it about 6 months since we got these things, and they were one of my go-tos. They quickly became a go-to for me. You can see it's got a couple little holes in it, but it didn't permeate, or didn't pierce the boot. It just kind of pricked the outside. That's greenbrier and stuff running through the woods. After 6 months of these, though, they quickly became one of my go-tos. I like the fact that I can slip them on, and I can slip them on like this, and just have my pants inside, or they've got a pretty good area at the top, so if I just want to pull my pants over and go much more low profile, I really like that too, because then you don't really know I'm wearing, like chore boots. Not that I really care, but it doesn't look bad like that either. But after 6 months, boy, I'm pretty impressed with them. Right away, I did some bow fishing with them. I mean, yeah, that's how long ago that was. That was the spring spawn for carp when I had these things and started testing them out.
We're on the board. That's one. Well, I'm a couple days into wearing these boots right now. So far so good. Just went bow fishing. Shot 5 fish, which is an overflowing 5-gallon bucket because they're so big, but 5 shots, 5 fish. Wading through a little bit of mud, a little bit of water. I didn't jump in the lake or anything, but so far, super dry, very nice, still comfortable. I'm liking these HISEA boots.
And I was blown away because I really thought that maybe on these, that they were gonna be, maybe waterproof up to here or so, but they actually did really good, even heading in deeper stuff. I thought maybe just the little bottom part would keep me dry, but they did good heading in deeper. I was impressed and surprised. I really like how comfortable they are, and the insoles too. They've got insoles in here, but the insoles kind of lip up on the back a little bit. So sometimes you'll have insoles that are just cut to form, but this one's kind of lipped up on the back, which means it stays in there a lot better. A lot of times I get bunched up insoles when I'm wearing them and doing stuff that then, you know, your insole eventually becomes trash, but these ones fit really well. And I mean, they are removable, but they stay put a lot better than a lot of other ones I've had, which I really like.
Hey guys, it's Mama Pepper, and today I'm making some sourdough French bread. I allowed this to ferment last night, overnight. I just put all the ingredients in there, and little sweet pepper helped me to knead it for 10-15 minutes or so until it was nice and stretchy. We put it in the bowl, oiled it up, and we let it sit. So this morning I was going to show you how it rose and it doubled in size and it had bubbles all in it, but I forgot. So now I'm at the point where I punched it down already, and I'm going to separate it into 2 balls, and then I'm going to line them here on my cookie sheet, and I'm going to let them double in size there, and then I'm going to put it in the oven to bake at 400 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. for the bread, so I'm going to do that with a knife right now. Let's see how they look now.
Oh, darling. Hey, I can still see your cuts. I think your loaf's made the cut.
Pretty nice. Sourdough French bread.
Wow, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll enjoy these tomorrow, maybe for lunch.
Excellent. My only goal from the time I stopped recording, well, actually I had a couple goals. One was eat breakfast, do family devotions with the family, and then make it back with a couple hours of daylight to use. I had to go prep a bunch of stuff for a job I'm starting tomorrow, and step one of prepping was to pretty much rebuild a trailer. Now the trailer overall was fine, but the boards were old, and the metal bracing that the boards were on, substandard. So we beefed it up a bit, added some bigger ones in there after we took the old boards out, some nice big pieces of metal, and then put brand new boards in there. And then we had to get packed for a job tomorrow, so it took longer than I thought it was going to. I didn't make it home with any daylight left, and that's okay, because that happens. It's kind of like the rest of my life, where I didn't plan to kind of give up the city life, quit my job, cash in my 401k, move 750 miles away in 2015 and not buy land till 2017. I didn't expect to buy that land in 2017 and not move on to it till 2018. You know, I didn't think these things were going to take this long. It's just part of life. So if you're there, don't be discouraged. It happens. Just make progress every day in one area or another. You know, if I get something accomplished, I got to count it as progress, because just staying alive, eating stuff, taking care of my family, making sure my kids are fed and clothed and that they're learning, that takes up a lot of time too, besides just making money. So count it as progress, count it as a win. Tell you what another win is these HISEA boots. Honestly, I didn't expect them to hold up this well after 6 months. A lot of times I destroy shoes definitely within the first 3 months, and often within the first month. There was a while in my life when I was debating, do I just pick up, remember you used to be able to buy them like 10 or 15 bucks. Do I just pick up $10 or $15 shoes every month and at least have a new pair of shoes on a regular basis, or spend 120, 150 bucks, whatever it may be, to, you know, buy expensive ones and hope that they last a year? That used to be the way that I lived. Now these I don't wear every day, because when I took a trip to Texas for a week, I didn't bring them with. When I go to work, unless I'm going to work somewhere wet, I don't bother thinking about bringing these. After 6 months though, these guys are still holding up. They're still durable. They are still dry. They keep my feet dry. They're still waterproof. I like them as well because I can wear them in rather hot weather. And just like a pair of pants or any high boots, you know, your legs will get a little warm in them. But when you wear them in cold weather, they keep me rather warm, which I also really appreciate. So thus far, they've definitely been 100% warm and dry, which I really appreciate. They're still comfortable, which is probably my favorite part. If they weren't, I wouldn't wear them as often, and I really appreciate a slip-on. A lot of times, if you look at my older videos, I'd just be wearing sandals around here, which is not good. These are going to be a lot better if I encounter a venomous snake than a pair of just regular open-toe sandals, and I do encounter venomous snakes. Alright guys, Papa Pepper here with another one of the Wild Man's Wild Friends. This one happens to be the water moccasin. It's known by a lot of names. Most commonly water moccasin and cottonmouth. And my favorite part about them is the fact that they actually give a 100-year warranty, which hopefully I'll never have to take them up on, but I'm really glad that they do offer that. In other news, this wood pile behind me, it's getting smaller, but there's a lot of these that I got to do. Again, I just try to get something done every day I'm home. If I would have been home the rest of the day, I think I would have tried to finish them. I've got some gray wash mixed up off on the side here. I keep the
actual bucket of paint inside the house. I'm gonna try to make my one bucket last the whole job, and I'm definitely, hopefully going to have extra of this, which means I may be able to continue through some other stuff. I just did not want to wind up short. A bunch in the back is actually cut to length for between some shorter sections of wall and between the windows and different things. I think it's going to complement my fireplace well, and in fact, I want to look at it, so I'm going to take a piece inside right now and see how it looks compared to my fireplace. In here, it's hard to get a good look at this. I got a flashlight actually on to try to bring out some real color. I figured it would be similar to the mortar, and I just grabbed these at random. I'm actually using different dilutions of the paint with the gray wash. So these were just at random, but they were all consistent in a row. I like the look of them. I think it's going to work well. I wanted something that looked better. You know, I didn't want it to look like it was just primered, which wiping it off definitely makes sense. And then these guys too, if you look, they've got a lot of character, a lot of characteristic in there. So I think that's going to look pretty cool, and I think complement this well. We'll have to see. Like I said, it's hard to get a good look at this, but I'm about to fire this up for the night. This has definitely served us well. This whole thing here, especially with the creek stone, that's just right out the creek, right by our house. I think this project worked really well, and it's definitely keeping us nice and warm. So I'm gonna like to cover up all these little places with the trim missing and just thin drywall kind of breaking down. So that'll be good.
Opossums are the only marsupial in North America. They're very misunderstood, but they're incredible creatures. To help educate people, we wrote this fact-filled fiction book. It's packed full of information about the opossum and good for all ages. I took all the pictures and I helped write this book. To get your own copy, you can order it through Amazon, or you can get an autographed one through our Etsy shop. Hopefully, it'll help others to appreciate these creatures a lot more.
Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Thumbs up. For real.
The cow head is good?
Yeah.
That's because you know.